In this video, we will start to explore how we can combine the large function together with the VLOOKUP. So first of all, what is the large function? Well, the large function can extract the highest value in a list of array or a list of values. And the VLOOKUP will help us to find the matching product name. So let me show you here an example. So we have here a situation with the prices for our coffee products. And what we want to do is we want to extract here the highest value or the most expensive product, which is in this case the frap. So what we want to do is we want to get the frap price in here, and in here we want to get the matching name, which is frap. So let's start and explore how we can do this. First of all, we type in here equal, and then we type in here large, open parentheses, and once we did that, and let's click on here, you will see here two options. First of all, you see an array, and the next one is the K value. So what is the array? Well, the array in this case is the list that we want, or the column with the values that we want to extract from, or we want to analyze. So in this case, this is our value here, comma, and then we want to find the largest. So the largest is the first, number 1. And if you want the second largest, we type in number 2. So the K value would be number 2. So in our case, it is number 1 because it's the largest. And instead of hard coding a number 1 in here, we will not do that, no. We will use a cell reference. So we select this cell here, which is number 1, close parentheses, enter. And now we get the $4 price. So if you're asking me why do we use here the cell reference instead of a number or a hard-coded number, because this is a formula, it will become more flexible. If you use hard-coded numbers and you make a mistake, it's very hard to figure out where it's from, and it's not recommended. This is best practice. Alright, so now we have this. We need to do the next one as well for the second and third. So what can we do here? Well, very simple. We type in again large, open parentheses, select here again the array value, comma, select this cell reference for number 2, and enter. There you are. You can see here cappuccino is the second most expensive product. Finally, large, open parentheses, select all of those, comma, select the third or number 3, and enter. And you can see here now espresso is the third most expensive product. Let's use exactly the same in this case here, because I want to show you an example, and this is very important. So let's do this here. What we'll do is here, and I will do here a more advanced way by using by freezing the cells. Alright, I will explain to you later on what that is. So we select here these values here. This is our array. Remember, this is the price, comma, and then we select here number 1, close parentheses, but we're not done here yet. You can see here we want to freeze the cells so we can drag them. Well, let me explain why. So if I do this now, you see here this is $4, and let's make this more suitable looking. Alright, and if we drag this down here, you will see what will happen. You can see here the third value for somehow shows $2, while it should be $3.50. So why this happens? If we double click here, we're dragging it, and as we drag, it goes down every time one cell. And the reason why this happens is very simple. We did not freeze the cell. So how do we freeze a cell before we drag it down? Well, that's simple. We select the cell we want to start with. You can see it in here, or let's click on here. And all we want is we want to freeze them by putting a $sign before the letter B, and $sign before the number 9, and the $sign for letter B here, and number 13, meaning we want to freeze column B and cell 9 up till column B, cell 13. So when we drag this down, it will not move by default. Alright, so put in a $sign, alright, and another sign here, and before the B and before number 13, and enter. So once you did that and drag this, you can see now it works perfectly. Alright, and if you double click, you can see also the $sign keeps everything nice in place. So once we did this, let's go to VLOOKUP. So we type in here VLOOKUP function. And once we type in the VLOOKUP function, open parentheses, and then you can see here 4 values. All right. So what is the first value, which is the lookup value? Well, what are we searching for? We are searching for $4, or number 4 in this case. We select this, and then we type in comma. And then the question is table array. Where can we find these values? Well, the table array is from starting here up till this value. So basically the price till product, all right, comma, then the column index number, meaning in which column should we extract the value? Well, very simple. This is column 1, and column A is in this case column 1, and column B is also the second column, but you count it based on the columns here, not by the letters here up. Remember that. So this is 1 and 2. If this would be C and D, this is still 1 and 2, because there's only 2 columns in this table. All right. And then we say here number 2, the second column, because the text, which is FROP for most expensive product, is here, comma, range lookup. So the range lookup has 2 options, which is the approximate, which is not necessary here. We have other videos showing you how to use this. And we have the false option, which is the exact match. And yes, we want the exact match because we want exactly $4 matching product finding fraps which are linked to each other. So we say here false, or we can put in 0 for false. All right. So once we did that, close parentheses, enter. Now you can see here we have the fraps. Let's do exactly the same for the second value. We type in here VLOOKUP, and we go now a bit quicker. VLOOKUP value is $3.80 here. And then we get here the table array, exactly the same, comma, column index number, which is number 2, and then comma, range lookup, which is 0 for false. Number 1 would be true. Remember that. So 0 is false. Enter. And now we do exactly the same VLOOKUP, open parentheses, the value here. Yes, that's the cell, and then we select the table array, comma, number 2 for the second column, and then comma, 0 for false, and enter. And there you are. Now we have our values here. Beautiful. So let's do exactly the same here. And this is the reason why I wanted to show you this, because this is very important. And you might make a mistake like this, and then you wonder what happens. Type in equal, VLOOKUP, open parentheses, and then now in our case, exactly the same, $4, comma, we select again here our table array, which is this, comma, and now instead of what we did here was the column index number was number 2, it's column index number 1. So if I type in number 1, comma, and we say here false for 0 for false, enter. And now we get a value which says NA, or not available. What happened? Or why does this happen? Well, very simple. VLOOKUP is not able to find the first value. Why? Because the first value should be the lookup value. And from there on, it can only read everything on the right side. So basically, any column here, it can read. But the first column should be the value for the searching. This is very important. So if you would have here something else, let's say here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this would be product ID. And we adjust our VLOOKUP. Let's adjust our formula here. You can see here table array. We want to extend this, instead of only 2 columns, we make it 3 columns. All right. And then we say we want the third column, which is the product ID, enter. Now you can see here number 4, which is the frap, has a product ID of number 4 as well. So this is correct. And this is how it works. So it should be always the first value must be the matching lookup value. And after that, it can search anything. So if you like videos like this about Excel and want to get better, subscribe to my channel, and because we have many different videos being uploaded consistently. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below.